Moment of truth. Okay, guys, place your bets. Who does more? Wow! Wow! Hey, what is up guys? GuitarRock here. Welcome back to another CounterSide video. Alright, today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Awaken Regina. So what are my thoughts regarding her after testing her in a bunch of PvP and PvE stages? So hopefully give you guys a better idea on whether or not is she a must pull, like is she going to help you in your account? Because ideally with these Awaken characters, they're so bloody expensive to be honest. Shall I restart or not? Don't worry, we won't be able to see Awaken Regina next week. Where is the buff luck? Okay, there's a robot. There's a robot. Guys, there's a robot. I'm gonna go to the toilet. I'll come back, alright? I'll come back.
A few moments later.
Back from the toilet, guys. What do you guys think? Woo! What now? You guys think the toilet never work? I'm early today? No, actually you're late today. Woo! Let's go! Let's go! Now first things first, she is going to be one of the few 7 cost Awaken units in the game, right? So right here you can see in this PvP game, enemy has Awaken Regina as well. Now in PvP, I can say she is kind of an interesting one. So right now during this first phase, if you guys are not aware, she will have her HP constantly drop, and once her HP reaches half, she will then fill up her HP again to full HP, and this time, this is where she gets super squishy. Now if you guys are not aware, during this duration, once the ice barrier is removed, she gets super squishy, she dies very fast, and if you don't protect her, you know, a lot of times she's just going to be a detriment to your team, right? So the idea here is you gotta protect her, make sure she stays alive. Elizabeth is a very good counter to her. Kang, anyone that can hit backline, even Spyra to a certain extent as well. So that makes her really expensive and risky to use. But you can see what makes her really strong is the frozen, the ability to freeze. If you are able to execute that accordingly, that's going to change the tide of battle for you. So you gotta stack as much chill as you can on the enemy first. So that's going to be something that you can observe right there. The Spyra has like 6 stacks of chill right there, you can see in the number, right? So that's something to consider. The chill stack is what's going to enable the frozen later on. So as long as they are in that ice tornado swirling around. So again, compared to a lot of other Awaken, she is, I would say, slightly more complicated, slightly more complex to use. It's not just a plug and play where you can put it into any team and expect her to work. I feel like if you are someone new, you might want to stay away from her. She's going to be much more focused, and you have to build a team surrounding her. You have to place like, it's ideally recommended to have at least a couple of supporters to try to protect her, or at least some front lines and some back lines alongside as well, to make sure that she doesn't die. Or else she will, most of the time, if you're not, you know, doing anything else, if she gets hit by Kang or rearm Elizabeth, she's just going to get one-shotted most of the time. And that's going to be a huge waste of cost, because 7 costs for you to redeploy her is going to be extremely costly. Now, let's talk about Awaken Regina in PvE. Does pulling her justify in any PvE scenario at all, right? I've been trying to make her work in a few PvE stages, and I can say that it's quite hard to make her work if you already have a staple, a bunch of other rangers that sort of help you complement your other team. What are we getting? Okay, this is how much Awaken Seoyun is doing. Let's just take this one. We don't need to look at the DPS. So we're gonna retry with Awaken Regina this time around, and we're gonna take that same gears. This one. You only send one time. Promotion scam. Bam! Alright. It's time, guys. Who is winning? Ooh! Woo! Awaken Regina versus Awaken Seoyun. 2.5 million plus 1.9 million. 3.7 million. This is the damage we are looking at. 4.5 million. Damage dealt. 3.7 million. Same gears. Awaken Seoyun wins. Wow. Alright, let me give you guys an example for the inhibitor right here. So I usually run either Kyrian or Awaken Seoyun in this team, and I will be able to one-shot this particular boss, no problem whatsoever. But if I were to slot in Awaken Regina, so let me give my best gears either attack speed or skill haste, it doesn't really matter. But of course attack speed does output slightly more damage in PvE overall, so that's something to consider. Alright, so let's go, and I'll discuss a few issues with Awaken Regina. So number one, it's harder for you to slot in or swap her out with a lot of other formation, where if you already have a couple of units in place, a formation, a strat that works, you want to slot her in. She's not like a better version in most cases. She seems to be an inferior version compared to Awaken Seoyun or Kyurem against this particular boss, because of her cost increase, and also I think her damage is not bad. Like the damage that she's able to output is pretty decent, but I would say if she's a 6 cost, it's gonna make her slightly better for PvE. But because she's a 7 cost, that's such a... it's really hard to recommend her compared to a lot of other Awaken Rangers that we have, right? We have Awaken Seoyun, we have Awaken Lee Suyeon, we have Replacer Queen. There's a lot of low cost Awaken either Rangers or Snipers, damage dealers, and you can see right here, she's making an entrance and she walks super slow. Alright, so there's a lot of things that you have to consider as well when you deploy her. The issue, like I mentioned, same applies with PvP. Alright, it's also going to be somewhere here in PvE as well. You can see that present in a lot of situations. Like for example in Shadow Hall, Shadow Palace, I was trying to use her, and it makes it so difficult because she's 7 cost and you gotta build a team surrounding her. And ideally that's not what you want to do in a lot of PvE stage. You don't want to build a team surrounding one particular unit. You ideally want to build a team depending on the enemy. So in this case, like Inhibitor is a mech. You want to try to bring Kim Sobin, for example, that can counter this boss. And then this boss does decent damage. You want to have like Young Harim to give shield. You want to have Awaken Shinja to give shield. You want to build a team depending on the situation, rather than building a team surrounding an Awaken unit. So most of the time, that's not going to be the case. In most cases where a lot of game contents rely, she's not going to shine here particularly. Alright, so I do think that if you are strictly looking from a PvE standpoint of view, I do not recommend Awaken Regina at all. Let's see, can we one-shot this boss? It looks like we will be able to. It seems like the damage is pretty good, right? But again, like I mentioned, Awaken Seoyun can also do the same, Kyurem can also do the same, so why use someone that's like 7 costs when you can use a 6 cost unit literally and do it slightly faster, right? So yeah, right here you can see that the damage clearly is not too far off Kim Sobin's damage. Alright, pretty decent. If we look at the DPS, alright, she's doing very, very high. But again, keep in mind, we're comparing a 7 cost unit to a 4 cost unit. So do you really need Regina in PvE? So I would say at best, she is a solid A tier in most PvE scenarios. But in PvP, that's where she shines the most. Alright, so she's going to be way better than a lot of other units. With her immense range, if you protect her, if she doesn't die, she will be able to help you a ton in PvP. Now there is, however, one big issue that I can see moving forward in PvP. That's going to be her cost. Alright, being a 7 cost unit, it's going to be harder to justify using her when she's banned. Alright, compared to a lot of other units, for example like Ministra or Awaken Seoyun. If they are banned 1, okay, maybe you can justify still using her. Awaken Lee Suyeon banned 1, I've seen people use her at banned 2 even. Right, Awaken Yuna as well. But for Awaken Regina, I doubt that's going to be the case moving forward, because looking at her cost, alright, if she's at 8 costs, I doubt many players are going to be able to utilize her and make her work as efficiently compared to someone like Awaken Horizon. So if you are strictly looking at PvP perspective, then there's also a lot of other options. We have Replacer King, which is, in my humble opinion, is also pretty flexible right now, although he has a counter. Alright, we have Evolve 1, we have Kyurem. There's a lot of characters out there. I do think that if Awaken Regina were to come out earlier, maybe before a lot of all these other Awakens, she would have a much more staple spot in in everyone's meta team. But if you're just like a new player, you're looking to pull for an Awaken, I don't think Awaken Regina is going to be that Awaken for you. Now veteran players, hopefully you guys decide carefully. If you play PvP a lot, yes, she is an option that you can swap in whenever she's up. Or I mean not up, when she's free and she's not banned. she is going to be a very solid choice for sure. And if she's banned, hopefully you'll have something else to be able to run during that period, during that duration. So yeah, that's just my honest opinion based upon so far 1 full day of testing her. Let me know what you guys think overall regarding Awaken, Regina. Do you guys plan to pull based on this information that you have heard from me? So yeah, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Subscribe if you guys haven't already, give this video a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a nice day. Goodbye.